Welcome back to the Lost Engine Outpost, everybody. My name is Spada. Let's just go ahead and start with the title of the video. Yes, I'm bringing back the living roster, and I couldn't be more excited about it. Now, really quickly, before we get too far into it, let me explain what the living roster is. The living roster is an ever-changing prediction for a roster of a fighting game. The format is that I make a video that shows you a character select screen filled with a combination of confirmed and predicted characters, and then ask you all to vote on a few characters that I'll present to determine which character or characters will take a slot on the character select screen next. And with that, let's get started with today's discussion. When I decided to take a break from these videos, it was because of all the leaks that had happened at that time, and I was worried that they would completely cloud my judgment when it came to making predictions. But fast forward a year and a half later, not a single one of those data mines has turned into anything relevant. Now, there have been some recent data mines that did prove accurate since, but even then, it seems like the most relevant portions of that leak are already out in public. So with that, we're good to start anew. So let's take a look at the living roster as we last had it. And now,
multiversus living roster 2.0.
Yes, that's right, it's official. We're completely rebooting the living roster here. We're starting over from scratch. Not because I don't love a lot of our predictions. They are actually super solid, and even some of them have proven to be slightly prophetic. But to do this right, we must start over and take into account all the characters that have been officially confirmed for multiverses. And with that, let's discuss how the living roster is actually going to work this time. Last time, every episode I would give you guys 5 options of characters from a particular portion of the Warner Brothers IP catalog, and then leave it to you guys to cast a vote on which one of those characters that I talked about was most likely to appear in multiverses. This time we're going to do things slightly differently. This is still very much a community-based conversation and series, and thus I will still very much be taking your insights and be providing polls. However, in order to make sure that there's maximum community engagement, here's how it'll work. Every episode, instead of just looking at the polls, I'll also be strongly considering the comments on each video. That means if you guys think I got something super wrong, this is where I need you to call it out and be as detailed as you possibly can. But I also want to hear your ideas for how to structure each episode's topic as well. So, do you think I should talk about a specific IP that I haven't yet? Or is there a character from an IP that we've already discussed that I'm overlooking? I want as much community participation as possible. I'll be featuring my favorite comments in the following video and responding directly to them. It's also very possible that we'll be filling more than one slot at a time as well. We might broach a catalog of IPs that requires more than one slot to be taken up, similar to how DC has several characters, as does Looney Tunes. But now that I've broached the main topic of this video, what can you expect from the living roster next? Well, the next episode, and probably several episodes, we will be focused on villains. If you go back and watch the cinematic trailer closely, after Agent Smith spawns in and the camera zooms out, there are 4 additional spots that characters appear to be summoning into. That implies that there are 4 more villains left to be revealed for Season 1. So far, we know that the Joker, Banana Guard, and Jason will all be included at launch. However, Agent Smith will reportedly be coming out after launch as a part of Season 1's thematic character releases. And the theme for this season is officially Puns and Villainy, which further implies that we'll be having a villain-focused season for multiverses. So which 4 villains are we all thinking are most likely? Now, my plan is to start the next episode with that as the topic, and I will not be making any decisions for our prediction in this video, but I will be telling you guys about a theory I have. Since the trailer has come out, different members of Player First Games staff have been planting what seem to be clues on our Twitter timelines. There are 2 that I want to talk about in this video, and those are part of a thread by Tony himself and contributed to by Nakat. This thread starts with a tweet from Tony that talks about how he's beginning to like space. The last time he said something like this, he said, "I think I'm beginning to like hockey," and shortly thereafter, Jason was revealed. So it certainly could be that this is another clue. But in reply, Nakat said that he wanted to talk about a red planet. Now, the obvious assumption here is that this is just a reference to Marvin the Martian, since Mars is our solar system's red planet. And to be entirely fair, it's plausible that this could be a reference to other things like Mars Attacks or something like that. But I suspect that this is a reference to the planet Apocalypse, which is also a red planet. And that red planet just so happens to be the home of one of the strongest DC villains, Darkseid. Now, I could be way off base. but that is what seems most likely to me given the context of the IPs currently existing within multiverses as it stands. And since we have very few villains for the already existing IPs, it makes sense that they might choose to flush out those characters first before introducing more IPs to the game, especially considering they just announced 2 characters that are completely independent of the existing IPs within multiverses right now. But okay guys, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it at that. I hope you all enjoyed this and are as excited about beginning the new Multiverses Living roster. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.